Welcome to The Crunch with Crib. I'm Jess, and each episode I'll be talking with some of WA's best real estate agents and business people to find out what makes them tick and what lessons they've learnt on their journey to success. Mother-daughter duo Christine and Chanel Majeks of Dethridge Groves combined forces last year and have gone from strength to strength ever since. With diverse backgrounds in criminal law and apparel, we spoke to the team about how they play to their strengths and what it's like to work in such a tight-knit family team. Ladies,
Hi.
Team Majeks,
This is us.
Welcome to the Crunch Room. Ladies, I'm very, very excited to have you. I've been wanting to have you in here for a while.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for having us.
You fit beautifully into my theme for the start of this year, the generational change.
Absolutely. I think it is. I think
Mother-daughter.
Yeah.
Mother-daughter team. So to start us off today, I'd love to know where you both have come from because I know you've both had some interesting careers prior to real estate.
Thank you.
Christine,
Yes.
do you want to start us
My
off?
background was banking, and I used to work for the Commonwealth Bank. And then from there we moved down to Market River, and I was involved in a family surf production company, and we
Wow.
travelled the world with that, exporting a product. And
What, like surf competitions?
No, surf product.
Like boards and stuff
board
like that.
bags, etc., etc. Equipment,
Manufacturing.
Yeah, right.
in Margaret and taking it to the world. And then in, I think it was 2000, we moved back to Fremantle. Chanel was accepted to Notre Dame, and my son went to CBC to finish his schooling, and I bought my home off Hayden Groves and thought, I can do this. I can do real estate. So that's how I got into real estate.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you close down the production, the surf?
My brother passed away, and he
Okay.
was the key to the company, so we unsold it.
Wow.
And walked away from it, yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah. So that's
There you
history.
go.
And then Chanel, you tell yours.
Yeah. So my training, I say to people often that in a previous life,
Yeah.
I was a lawyer. I was a trial lawyer, a criminal defence lawyer for many years. So I've got a couple of degrees, one being obviously a law degree and the second an arts degree majoring in politics. So I was at Notre Dame in Freo for quite some time. I loved being a student. It's a community university, so we were in between lectures. We were at Little Creatures or at Gino's having coffee.
Studying really
Yeah,
hard.
it was
Really
such
hard,
a hard
yes,
gig. So really loved that. Did the double degree, met some really great people through that, and I loved the law. It was something that I was always passionate about and very much enjoyed it. So quite quickly ended up getting into practice and then partnership in a criminal defence firm.
Wow.
So, yeah, loved that.
So how long were you practicing?
A while. A few years. Yeah, several years.
Straight from uni into
Yeah.
partnership.
Yeah,
So
right.
She was very, very fortunate, and we're all very proud of her.
I didn't have any downtime, put it that way.
Yeah, okay.
But then again, being student life for me was quite luxurious. It wasn't sort of being stuck at campus all the time. It was, and of course, living in Fremantle, socialising in Freo and then going to uni, it was all sort of tied into one. It was some of the best years of my life, actually. I met some really great people through that. So just transitioned straight into working full-time. And then worked my way up and, specialised particularly in criminal defence work, which was very, very different from what I'm doing now in a lot of ways, obviously. But the crossover, there's a lot of crossover.
I was going to say, I imagine there's a lot of similarities in the way you're dealing with people and taking on, I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you're dealing with people and finding solutions to to problems, and often very difficult times in their life, and that's in real estate as well.
Similar.
Transactions are very few of them are actually about the bricks and the mortar that we sell. Most of the deals that we do and the people that we deal with, it's about where they are at that stage in their life, where they want to go from there, and different things that are happening in their life too.
It's a delicate process. People think real estate is a contract, and as Chanel just said, bricks and mortar. That's the least of it. It's managing personalities, it's managing expectations, it's managing people's finances, it's managing their day-to-day life, and sitting on the ground playing with children that want to be fed while we're negotiating an offer on the kitchen table. And I think that's, I'm butting in from Chanel finishing about where she, how she got into real estate. But this game is not about bricks and mortar. It's dealing with people and becoming on the same page as the seller, as the buyer, especially the seller, and working with them and listening to them.
Yes.
Not just coming in and just saying, "Oh, I'm this and this." So
Yeah.
it's a fabulous industry to be involved in.
Yeah.
Got to be the right personality.
100%.
Yeah.
So what took you from criminal law to real estate?
Well, I had 2 children quite close together. So my daughter and my son are only 18 months apart.
Okay.
I was back in court when my daughter, my oldest child, my daughter was 6 weeks old. So I went straight back into the intensity of it all when she was very young, and then had my son quite soon after my daughter. So things got very busy, very intense, and it was just a lot to juggle. Their dad was working away 3 weeks out of 4 at the time.
Okay.
So I wasn't single, but I was flying solo and trying to run a practice and having 2 babies. It just got a lot. So I tried to wind things down to accommodate everything that was happening in having a young family. But it's again a bit like real estate in that kind of role, is that it's really all or nothing.
I was going to say there's probably not a lot of part-time criminal lawyers around.
No, it's not something you can do 50%. It's full commitment or it's not, and also just the hours in terms of not having flexibility. You know, if I'm doing a jury trial and I'm waiting for a jury to come back at 10 o'clock at night, then I'm waiting till 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. It's not something you can
can't
clock
say,
in.
"Excuse me, I've just got to go and do some
I've got to feed
things."
the kids.
Yeah, I've got to feed the kids.
Not
It's
gonna
feeding
happen.
hours. So I've got to go. So the lack of flexibility, I suppose, with that industry was something that I couldn't no longer accommodate with what I had going on with the young family. So took some time off, actually, a couple of years that I didn't work outside the home. And for some of that period, Christine also took some time off from Dethridge Groves. And then when Christine went back to work full-time again, she got very busy very quickly. The time that she had taken away from the office hadn't impacted her business or her practice at all. So she got very busy very quickly, and I actually just offered to help her out in an admin role, to be another set of hands and be in the office doing that type of thing, so she could be out in front of people, buyers and sellers. And then
she saw how much fun I was having and how much
how long at that point
it.
had you been in real estate?
Well, I started really in real estate in 2007 and then worked till, when was I there? 2011, took 18 months off. I did some travel, did an interior design course. Then I rang Hayden and I said, "Hayden, I'm bored. I need to come back to work." He said, "You're there." So I had gone back, I'd been back at work probably year and a half, and then Chanel, I just got so busy, and I said, "Oh, can you do this for me? Do this," and then I remember the day that Chanel said to me, "What do you think if I actually did my licence and I got into real estate, Mum?" I said, "Your decision. Go and talk to Hayden. It's going to be his choice to take you on," and went from there.
And in hindsight, it was probably the worst time to actually go into real estate for someone who had never, been in the industry before. It wasn't like I was coming back and I had the experience. I mean, times were particularly difficult at that time. I think it was 4 years ago this week, actually, that I've been at DG. So looking back at how few transactions there were and the hit that selling outcomes had taken, I remember Hayden speaking with me and saying, if you can survive the first 12, 24 months, you will thrive through that.
In that particular market, absolutely.
Because things were very, very difficult, and I'm forever grateful to Hayden for giving me the opportunity, because at that time many principals and many estate agencies were firing people. They weren't hiring them because they just had to downsize to accommodate the hits that they were taking to survive. And keep the doors open. So but we've always loved real estate, and we've always loved Fremantle. So we used to go to home opens and just to see, the variety of homes that are available in Fremantle. It's mind-blowing. And even now, we still get goosebumps when we go through a home and we haven't seen it before, or think, I've driven down this street a million times in the last 20 years.
And we didn't even know that was there.
This was here, yeah.
So every day, that's an opportunity for us to see and meet people.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I love, and just going into these homes and then people entrust you with this investment they give you that he's been talking with my hands and I don't talk with my hands. It's high excitement. And, you're entrusted to deal with that, their possession. And, I still get goosebumps.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Yeah.
So did you guys start as a team or did you go out on your own at first?
We didn't start as a team per se, certainly not in the way that we are now. I was conscious of the fact that Christine had her own brand. She had her own business that she wanted to run and maintain, and she had been employed in that capacity by DG. So I was conscious and cognizant of not to impact what it was that she wanted to do. And of course, there's such a range of what estate agents wanted to achieve while they're in the industry, depending on their age, the stage of their career, what it is that they've got going on personally at their home life. So I didn't want what I wanted to do, my agenda, impact what Christine wanted to do. But as it's sort of evolved, it's certainly become a bigger beast, I suppose, than what we had either us as individuals or in our discussions had anticipated. We found that it just was a natural fit, and I suppose the difficult market conditions also led us to have the discussion about what's our point of difference going to be? What are we bringing to a potential vendor that perhaps the agent next door or the agent up the road can't or doesn't have so what's our point of difference? Most agents that are working in a niche area like Fremantle probably live and work, in the same area. So that's not a point of difference anymore. It's not enough to say that your kids go to the local school or that you go to the same restaurants and things like that. Knowing your area is not enough anymore. So we wanted to try and find a way, and it sort of naturally evolved, that we could offer a point of difference to our vendors, and we could manage buyers perhaps in a different way that hadn't been done, certainly at DG or in and around Fremantle before.
Yeah. And we've got quite a close relationship off air, as a family anyway. Our whole family is quite close. So it was quite normal. I'd be talking about things, Chanel would talk about things, and it got more suitable for us to do our listings together. We were still separate in our own businesses then, and then this was Chanel's idea. She said, well, why don't we create this point of difference and, two for the price of one, basically, and really work our buyers that come through the properties that we list. And it's two loads of knowledge and two types of personalities dealing with a transaction. And it's, to this point, it's just ticked off and works beautifully. Really does. Because
you do, it seems like, we've only just met, but you do have some very separate strengths, I guess. Is that something that you have found when you're dealing with your buyers and your sellers? There's certain personalities that Chanel will take the lead, certainly Christine will take the lead.
Absolutely. I'm known as good cop and Chanel's bad cop.
But look, and I think, though, it's one of those things where it's such a personality-based business.
Yes,
it's such a personality-based industry that we'll meet with potential vendors and we'll leave, and I will have absolutely loved the property to, the full works. Mum's just going, oh, yeah, it's okay, but it's got this challenge, it's got this. And I'm, no, I get it, I love it, I get it.
Yeah.
And vice versa. It happens at other properties where I'm just like, oh, no, not for me. But Christine's like, oh, awesome, love it, I know exactly who that's going to suit. And so that's from a product standpoint in terms of what we respond to, but also in terms of the people. So the sellers, any seller's going to love the fact that they're going to have two agents working really hard for them at the same time for the same outcome. Obviously, it makes sense. And then for our buyers as well, it's often the case at home opens, because of the types of homes that we list within Fremantle, that we have a lot of people coming through a 30 or a 45-minute home open. If you've got, 45, 60 people coming through a home at one time in one very narrow window, those people need to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
Conversations need to be had. And
Absolutely. And we're not name takers. We just don't get your name as you walk through the door. We have a conversation with you. What are you looking for? What is it that drew you to this property? How can we help you? So I think that's a lot of our success too, is that we actually get to know buyers, and we have buyers that ring and say, oh, we've missed out on that one. Oh, what a, shame. Can you find us something? So we have buyers that relate to us and we work hard. This is not a game that we've decided, just to be part of and sit back and see what happens. We're in this, we've invested in it, and I think it's really working.
Yeah, beautiful. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to jump in and let you know about our new podcast, Off Market Perth. Off Market is the latest project from Crib Creative. Every fortnight you can join me, Shane Beaumont, Ross Hunter and a special guest as we break down Perth's property market. You can find Off Market Perth wherever you listen to podcasts, and if you enjoy the show, please don't forget to subscribe and be sure to tell a friend. Now I'll let you get back to your listening. Is there anything, Christine, I might start with you because you have been in the industry longer.
Yes.
Anything that you've ever seen Chanel try or do in the workplace as an agent that you've thought, that's not going to work, and then she's proved you wrong?
I think the relationship that Chanel and I have is that we listen to each other. I might say to her, I might be short with her and say, oh, look, not right now, but we will sit down and we'll discuss an idea, and by the end of that discussion, we've worked out how it can work for us. So I'm not a person that will ever dismiss anybody's idea on any level, whether it's in workplace or personal life, because it just makes you look at something in a different way.
Yeah.
And normally it works out for the better.
Yeah. What about you, Chanel?
No, I think I'm a little bit the same actually, because the way that we communicate, and we've always been, as mother and daughter, before we ever were colleagues or team members, we've always had a very honest, straightforward, communication-based relationship. We often say to our sellers, if anything, we'll over-communicate with you. We're telling you too much. We're we're touching base too much. But that's how we've always been in our personal lives, and I think it's carried on into the professional space. So there's no fear of me saying something and thinking, I'm not going to suggest that because Christine will just knock it back and it won't get off the ground. That doesn't happen with us at all.
No.
And if I make a suggestion it's not going to work for this particular property or for this particular campaign, it doesn't mean it's never going to work at all. We just put it on the shelf and say, well, let's tweak it.
Revisit it later.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you guys have implemented in the last couple of years, and this might be within the workplace or it might be personal life, that's changed your life?
I think a decision we came to about 18 months ago, taking on a PA. At first I was quite hesitant because I'm a bit of I like to be in control of everything. I like to see something from A to Z and how it happens in between. So our workload was getting to the point that we needed to do something other than just do what we were doing. So we had a long, deep discussion about taking on a PA. I was quite hesitant. Chanel was absolutely for the process. So I think we interviewed a few people, and the girl that we've got now, the young woman that we've got now, is an absolute perfect match to what we want and how she works with us. And that was a huge decision, which not only affected our business life, but our personal life as well.
Yeah.
Because it gave us that extra time to just stop for a moment and do something else.
Do you think that's reflective of your background in family business, probably, always involved with every step of the way, whereas you as a lawyer, you have to have help.
Absolutely. And I think that's, I could see what taking on a PA would do for us as individuals, and I could see what it could do for us in terms of our capacity and our business. It was just a matter of having the conversations around that with Christine about, and not convincing her, but almost selling her, negotiating with her around that, about how that could benefit not just our work life, but also our personal life too, because two people, efficient systems, whatever you want to do, can only do so much in a 7-day week. And it was that, and it still is a lot of the time. It is 7 days a week, and we'll be making phone calls to each other at 10, 11 o'clock at night. When you think the day's done and dusty, you get another call. And so I was conscious that I wanted to not stop expanding the business and not stop giving our clients the level of service that they've come to expect from us. I was very conscious of capacity and that we're reaching the limit on that. So I've always been probably a better delegator. I still struggle sometimes with it because I am a little bit like Christine in the sense I like to see it from top to bottom every step of the way. But if you can't delegate to someone you have confidence in, and not, we delegate to Sue, and we know that it's
that's
done.
covered.
Absolutely.
And so that's a peace of mind. And a capacity. It frees you up in a lot of ways.
I think it's such an underrated skill. It's really a difficult thing to learn how to delegate and how to give proper instruction, and how it's something that I struggle with all the time. How to give someone the framework to be successful.
Sure. And I think that's why the right fit for us was so important. And we were also conscious for the person who did take on that role to come into this dynamic, this between Christine and
pretty
I,
intense
which
sometimes.
is very intense. I'm known for my intensity in terms of how I go about things, and Christine and I have a very dynamic relationship, and then you add on top of that the personal, the mother-daughter factor. I was thinking, gosh, who are we going to find who wants to take it on? Let alone
who's going to be crazy enough to deal with that?
To want to actually be in between us. But as it's turned out, she's not in between us; she's with us. And very much committed to our processes and our outcomes as well. And her success is obviously inherent in ours, and vice versa. So very lucky, and it's been a really wonderful. And all the things that I had said to Christine that would happen in terms of expanding our capacity, expanding our reach, have happened. And so it's a little bit, I told you so, but
I was
for
convinced.
the better.
I was convinced from day one, the day that we sat together, and the moment I met her, and I thought, this is it. This can work.
I'm interested to hear. I'm always interested in people's hiring, I guess, and how they hire and what they're looking for. Was there a quality that you were looking for, or was it the skills and other things would follow? What were you looking for when you hired that role? I think it was a
combination of all of those, but it's like anything. You've got to feel comfortable, and some people can say a lot of words and act and put a lot of things on paper, but when we came to interviewing and meeting Sue, we just felt right. It just felt like this young woman gets us. She gets us, and she would come back to us too and say, well, no, how about this? And so we just felt right.
It's something intangible sometimes.
Totally.
Absolutely intangible.
From my previous profession as well, you can have people who look amazing on paper, in black and white, couldn't read a better resume, couldn't read a better script, but you've got to really, really be in front of someone, get a sense of who they are, and sometimes they might not have a resume that stacks up in things that you wanted. We absolutely have to have this person know this or this or this, and they may not, but they've got an ambition and a drive to learn and to be committed to what we are committed to as well. And if you align yourself with people, not just in a personal way, but also in terms of just your general business, if you align yourself with people who are on the same page and have the similar value set, then the rest will flow. The rest will happen naturally.
I guess people choose real estate agents the same way.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, Chanel, what's the most valuable piece of advice you've ever received from Christine?
Oh gosh, ever.
Ever.
My goodness.
Whoa.
Way back.
Not him.
We'll keep it to
Post uni.
yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I think what I've probably learnt from Christine most is the ability to just step back sometimes and read the play. Often, you know, when you're first in real estate and you're young and you're ambitious and you're really keen and you're really energized and you just really want to make things happen, you can get caught up in that deal or that transaction or getting that listing, and your world becomes very small. So Christine's often sort of, and still sometimes says to me, you know, just take a step back, read the play. Where are all the pieces of the puzzle now? Take a breather and then read. You can go back to it in an hour, or you can go back to it tomorrow morning. Just let it sit, let everyone fall where they need to fall, and then you can bring it back together type scenario. So it's, if anything, it's just a more general sort of take a breather. The world's not going to fall apart if the signatures are not on this line by 6 o'clock tonight. You can go back to it, letting sort of people know when to sort of sit and when to make a move.
Go.
So
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What about
It's
you,
a good
Christine?
balance.
Any advice or wisdom from Chanel?
Probably since working together, and I'm quite a high achiever. I like to see results, and I'm very hard on myself. Is sometimes just to stop and learn to say no, and learn to put yourself first before other people, other agendas. I think that's probably it. Just stop and step back.
Yeah.
I have to say to her, just you're entitled to say no to this opportunity, or you're entitled to say no to
I don't
the
know
way
how to
that,
say no.
Yeah, that's
It's funny because
you know.
I asked the same question of James Thompson and Alan Burke last week when they were in, and they answered the same thing. Yes. They both said learning to say no to a listing or to a XYZ because I can.
Yeah, and the busier you get and the more that your brand is known and the more people see you, of course, you do get more calls and you get more people wanting to get appraisals and list with you and things like that. And I won't say that it's often that we say no to an opportunity, but we're very particular about how we filter through those opportunities. And it's not even about necessarily what the home is or where the home is. It's more about what is the vendor's sort of position and how does that align with what we want to do. And so I think there's a freedom in being able to push back on things and or know your worth in terms of, look, this is where we think it's at. We're happy to have a conversation, but we don't just say yes out of fear of losing an opportunity or losing a deal or anything like that. And I think people respect you for that a lot more.
Absolutely.
It's quite empowering.
Yeah. What's one of the worst piece of advice you've ever heard from someone in the industry? Maybe early in your career you were told something that just now you look back and go, ugh.
It was, at the time, it was the worst piece of advice I was given, but on reflection, it was the best piece of vocabulary that was shared with me. I first started real estate with another agent. I was with them for 3 or 4 months total, and I actually listed this very beautiful property in the middle of Fremantle, and I just started, and we just clicked. The owner and myself clicked, and the lady was lovely and she said, I'd like to give this property to you. So I went back as proud as punch to my then principal, and I said, this is what I've got. Look, his response to me, and it devastated me, was that, oh great, you won't ever sell it, but at least you can learn something out of the process. I sat at my desk, and after I sort of got myself together, and I thought, great, I'm going to show you. And I did.
Yeah.
And then after that transaction finished and settled, I resigned, and then I went to where I'm working now. And that was my trigger to success in real estate.
Wow.
Absolutely best.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look out. Yeah. It was sort of like, gosh, did he know what he was dealing with
Unleashing.
there?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. No, I don't think I've been really, really fortunate that started in being at Dethridge Groves, with Hayden as our principal and industry leader, and to be surrounded by such amazing colleagues who have all got different lengths of experience and different ways and different strengths to them. We work in a very collaborative environment at the office that we work at. So if I'm sitting there and I've gone to do an appraisal, or if I've and I just can't get my head around where the value is sitting, or I just can't digest what the challenge is, I've got colleagues left, right and centre. I can always stick my head into Hayden and say, what do you think about this, HG, or to Laurie, our general manager. So there's no secrets about what we're all trying to achieve together, and we often talk about that being quite a distinct sort of feature for us. But I don't know any other way. I've been so lucky that I started in this industry in such a brilliant environment that I've never been made to feel that anything I say or ask could be stupid or could be taken the wrong way. So I've not had any bad advice, to be honest. I've just been lucky that I've been surrounded by people who've got such great skills that I listen constantly, even when I shouldn't be in my ears.
So am I. I'm wondering, you both seem obviously very high-performing people and personalities, and you can obviously bounce off each other and kind of gain momentum from each other. But when you do lose focus or lose a bit of motivation, what do you do to get it back?
I think whoever you are or whatever sort of motivates you to keep going, it's super important to step back and to spend some time with yourself, whether it's coffee with your best friend, whether it's, a nice crisp white at Strange Company, or wherever it is, whatever, a walk on the beach. Remember to take time to smell the roses and what this is all about. Just giving 110% of yourself, it's not going to last. Spending a moment doing what you love just reinvigorates. Yeah. So mine's normally bubbles. But.
I was just going to say, it usually involves champagne or nothing wrong with day trips or something like that. But it's really important that it's been said about this industry a lot. You can be unrelenting and unforgiving, and if you don't manage your time and manage your mental health as well, very, very particularly, and surround yourself by people who have always got one eye on you, checking in on you, seeing how things are going. I'm so lucky. My children and I have got, as Christine mentioned, our family's very close, but I've also got a really tight-knit group of friends who we're all young mums, we're all working mums, and even if we can't see each other, we're on a group text together all day, all hours of the night, if it's one thing or another. I feel very connected to them, so you don't feel like you've ever got going through something alone, which I think this industry probably could be quite like that.
I would say so,
if you're a single agent and you just work, it could be quite isolating. You can look up 12 months later and think, gosh, where's everybody gone? Sort of, haven't seen anyone or done anything. So no, we probably have heard, and we enjoy a good social life. We do, and it revolves around Fremantle and Fremantle people and places. But that's a part of our business, I suppose, as well. But no, we're not afraid of a meal out or having
just
a drink.
Downtime.
You've got to do those things to stay connected to also the place that we sell homes in, the people that we sell homes for. You can't go down to Woolies without running into anybody that you know, or the petrol, wherever it is. But that's a part of what we do as well. So,
and you have to. The reason that you work hard is to then enjoy life.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah,
sure,
absolutely. Sure. And you've got to remember that you're doing that. And when you take time out, over Christmas, and you have some time out, you think, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? We'll get back busy. You just have to cut that out. Get on a plane to Bali, go down south, just unwind and have that and remember that, yes, what am I in this game for?
Why am I doing this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful. I'm going to end it there, ladies.
Oh, thank you
so much. What a nice note to end it on.
This has been fabulous. Thank you.
That's that's it for this episode. We'd love any feedback or guest suggestions, so please hit me up on Instagram on Jess@Crib to let us know what you think. Did you know about our new podcast, Off Market? Off Market is the latest project from Crib Creative. Every fortnight, you can join me, Shane Beaumont, Ross Hunter, and a special guest as we break down Perth's property market. Find Off Market Perth wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you enjoy our shows, this one or Off Market, please don't forget to subscribe and be sure to tell a friend.